Hello my friends, welcome. Welcome to this video giving an overview about the different steps for the restoration of a massive wood table. Before detailing the different steps, there is a very important thing I wanted to tell you up front, is that you have to calculate the time needed for the different steps. And honestly, even if you're quick, it will last at least 1 week. Knowing that here in my case I made a vitrification, which is of course the most solid coating, and this required like a week for hardening the vitrification. Here a little summary about the different steps and also the timeline, of course, in music. But now let's go to the different steps of this restoration. So the first step is to perfectly prepare the surface. Here the table was in rather good shape. In case you have holes in the surface, or if you have a floating lath, for instance, you can have a look at my videos about the restoration of the workbench, where everything is explained. One little comment about the sanding. I already told it several times. Sanding is generating dust. So in the case of the feet, I couldn't connect the sanding machine, or let's say my hand, to the vacuum cleaner. So at least there you will have some dust. Fortunately for the tabletop, I could connect the orbital sanding machine to the vacuum cleaner, which is reducing the dust a lot. Nevertheless, careful about this question of dust. Don't hesitate to cover the delicate pieces with plastic sheets. One little comment about the sanding. So basically a table has two main components, the tabletop and the feet. One important thing to know up front is that sanding the feet is a very work-intensive activity, specifically in my case, where I had essentially rounded pieces. So in case your feet are still in a good shape, the best is not to touch them. You can of course clean them, and to concentrate on the tabletop, which is much more straightforward in terms of progress. So I would say the intensity of the sanding that is needed will depend on the color you will give to the table. Basically, the rule is the darker the surface will be, the less you need to sand. So here in this very case, I really sanded extensively. It's also a good way for me to show you how to make a very clean sanding. But basically, I think it was too much compared to the fact that the table was a rather dark color. So the next step is to protect the overall surface. For this, ideally, you should be taking an undercoating for wood. This undercoating will first of all nourish the wood, and secondly, avoid that it will absorb too much of the varnish. So here I opted of not taking it because I wanted to have a very dark color. And as I told you in the second video about the varnish, the objective was to reach the color of the chairs around the table. So I didn't use the undercoating and I went directly for the varnish.
The wood is extremely thirsty, so we won't hesitate to put a big good layer of this paint. Use it.
then we go to the second layer of vitrification. So this is really giving a very nice look and feel, especially feel, not only the brilliance, but it's also a very soft feeling on the table. So it's a really very nice solution to go for the vitrification. And you will see in the video about the vitrification that a little drama happened, which was that I was using the wrong protection tapes, which finally broke the sides of the tabletop, which was not only a disaster because it's not really possible to fix like it was initially. And the second one is that you have to add 2 days to your time for the works, because you need to put a first layer of varnish after the sanding, then you have to sand again, and then you have to make the second layer of varnish. So honestly, be extremely careful on the protection tapes. That's it, my friends. I hope that this series will be helpful for your restoration works. If it's the case, please leave me a like or subscribe to the channel. This is now another series which is joining a series about, for instance, relaunching the central heating after the summertime, or the series about sanding a wooden window frame, and I can guarantee you that the result is absolutely spectacular, or a longer series about the restoration of the workbench that I've already mentioned. And for ending, let me tell you that you find me here in the same configuration, but with a restored table, then the video about the sanding tools. So don't hesitate, this next video. And otherwise, I hope to see you very soon on Happy Hour TV 1.